It's gonna be a quick guide, everything that you need to know if you're looking to like start running cold email campaigns. The first thing would be infrastructure, and then we'll get into the settings, offer leads, and copy as well. So to start with infra, the main thing you need to understand, you actually do have to build an infra. If you've researched even a little bit into cold email, you'll understand a bit on how it works. You buy a bunch of domains, and under those domains, you set up email accounts. Then you load those into like a sending platform like Instantly or something. You can start sending from them. And so the numbers for that would be you can buy domains from like Namecheap or like Porkbun or something, and you create 3 inboxes per domain. And then per inbox, you can send 30 emails a day. And then you also want to send 10 to 20 warm up emails per day. And so when you set up those accounts, you can't start sending from them for 2 weeks. So you need to have the warm up going for 2 weeks before you actually start sending campaign emails. And then even after that 2 week warm up period is done, you keep the warm up emails going. And then like a tip on this is some people tell you to use like Google Workspace, or use like Namecheap and like different domain providers might have email accounts, but you definitely want to go with an email provider to set up email accounts. So you can go to somewhere like Cheap Inboxes or something like that, or like Frostmailer. There's a ton of different email providers, and it'll be a lot cheaper, and they'll set up things like your DNS records and like your top IMAP that are just like super technical things that you don't really want to have to deal with. So for infrastructure, it's pretty simple. Just get your mains, make email accounts under those, and then go with an email provider, and they will load that into your like Instantly account. So use like Instantly AI for sending. I like Instantly. There's also like Smart Lead and like Lemlist. There's a bunch of different sending platforms, but I found Instantly to be really good. So definitely use Instantly. And you don't want to do anything unless you have the hyper growth plan. Like the growth plan Instantly, really, it's holding you back way too much. There's no point in using it unless you're going to use hyper growth plan. Then for settings, you want to do no HTML, so no images, videos, open trackers, click trackers. You can't use those. You can't track open rates or click rates. No links, no website links, like nothing. It's just pure text. Pure text. They have to be pure text for when you're sending emails. And then every like around 2 weeks, just regularly run what are called inbox placement tests, and you can look into those. And what those do is they check how your campaign emails are doing. So when you're doing warm up, you'll see like a 99% or whatever. You'll see a warm up email percentage, but that's not your email deliverability. That's your warm up deliverability. So you need to run inbox placement tests to test what your campaign deliverability is. And then once you get what accounts are underperforming, what accounts are doing bad, maybe under like 85% deliverability, then you're going to want to take those out of the campaigns and just let them warm up for another week or two, run another placement test and see if they've gotten better. It's pretty simple, pretty standard. And then offer. So this is really the most important thing in a cold email campaign after deliverability, because of course you have to land in the inbox. But in terms of a successful campaign, offer is definitely the most important aspect for success. So the simple thing, then there's a lot of nuance to it, and there's a lot of little things that make differences. But the main things that you want to see in an offer for cold email definitely needs to be B2B and then medium to high ticket, because conversions are relatively low on cold email. So if you're selling something that's like 50, $100 a month, it's really not like worth it unless you have a super optimized campaign. And then you need a clear and quantifiable gain, and then to have it low risk and low friction. So that's also like how when you integrate your cold email into your sales system, you definitely want your onboarding process to be tight and to be good, and like have it so that like for cold traffic, right, that they know what's going on right away. They can get value pretty quickly. They can see results quickly, and hopefully they pay quickly as well. So low risk offer, low friction offer, and then how you pose it in the email, you want to pose it specific and you want to pose it relevant to whoever you're sending it to. Because cold emails is because a lot of people get cold emails. So you want to stand out in the inbox, and your offer should be unique. They shouldn't be seeing like the same, because they are seeing the same offer in their inbox like many, many times. So try to find a unique angle and definitely test different angles. And in terms of relevancy, if you can scrape niche lists and target a super relevant offer per list, that's going to do really well. Then in terms of lists or like leads, To get your leads, definitely do not buy like an Apollo plan. So Apollo is one of the largest like lead databases. Most people use Apollo. Um, but definitely don't buy a plan from them. You can just scrape it using findelead.com. So if you just go to findelead.com, you can see how to scrape them. It's a lot cheaper. You get like 10,000 leads for $30, and then you can verify those with Million Verifier. So whenever you buy a lead list, or if you've already scraped a lead list, you already have one, you need to verify it before you actually run it. So go to a website like Underground's Million Verifier. I use Million Verifier and buy a ton of credits. It's relatively cheap. I think it's like $40 for 10,000 credits or something like that. It's quite cheap. And you just like upload your CSV file into there, and it's gonna verify them and see what emails are bad and like outdated. And then there's gonna be risky emails and there's gonna be good emails. So you want to download. I usually just download the good emails. The risky ones are called catch-alls, and you can verify those too, but it's a bit of a hassle and it's a full process. So I don't do it. And if you're just starting with cold email, I wouldn't recommend to try to like deal with all that stuff. And then of course, I guess when you're building your list, you really want to make it so that you're targeting a relevant list. That's also going to be a huge indicator of success in the campaign. So scraping a good list, making sure that you're hitting the right job titles, hitting the right employee counts, hitting the right even like keywords, so like making sure you're hitting the right type of niche. That's going to make a huge difference. And then also, if you have the time to put more effort into your cold email campaigns, if you're scraping niche lists, that's going to be super good. Like one easy way of scraping niche lists or smaller lists is you can also do like a location based campaign. So you can scrape people, say in your own city, and then you can offer them something that's local. You can even offer to like meet them in person. That'll convert really well if you're able to do it properly. Like to a local contractor, say, hey, I'll grab you a coffee. It's on me. Could I show you this thing or whatever? And then for copy, so basic level copy, this is also a deliverability thing. So go on to mailmeteor.com and you can paste in your script. You want to have less than 5 spam words. It's not like a huge deal, but definitely keep it to a minimum. And then spin tax, everything. So I don't know how much this affects deliverability. I know that it does affect it at least a little bit. And what spin tax is if you see the double curly brackets on that first name variable, you put the words in a double curly bracket and you have like a line in between, like if you use shift and then backslash, and it picks a random word between those two things in the brackets. So I'll do like can, line, could. So then when it does my email, some of them say can, some of them say could. And you just like spin tax different synonyms or different like phrases that sound the same or that mean the same thing. And that's supposed to be good for deliverability and also just good in general. And then like general rule is less than 80 words for your copy. So you really want to have short and concise copy. I like one-liners do really well, especially if your offer is good. So it's literally just like, hey, first name, if I could offer with deal, would that be word chat? Like it's or like it's just a hey, first name, if I could offer with deal CTA question mark. And then you do like your account signature, and then also PS lines are really good. So do a PS line with like an extra deal or like a case study saying, hey, we got this company X results in time, or like we got a similar company, this result in this. That does really well. Throwing in it's like a casual case study in there, and make sure to like name drop a little bit. Like, of course, you might have NDAs or something with your client, but just like maybe at least at a niche or like the location or something, so they know that you're not just like lying. And then for subject lines, so as I said before, you can't split test offers or you can't split test opens or clicks because that's bad for deliverability. So for subject lines, you don't need to go too crazy in split testing them, or you can't split test them, but you want to do just like 2 to 3 word subject lines and use first name. So a lot of them are like question, first name, inquiry, first name, little thing, first name, one thing, first name, how's this, first name, wasn't sure, first name. Oh, like you should get the whole hang of it. It's just like 2 like simple words and just have it vague, make it look internal, lowercase all the letters, and yeah, it's quite simple in writing the subject lines. And then your copy should be built around your offer. So the whole script that you're doing is pretty much just presenting whatever offer and deal that you're doing. That's how you're going to be split testing your different copies and like scripts. So you want to make sure that you're writing it to be built around the offer. And honestly, if you can nail these 5 things, you should be doing pretty good in a cold email campaign. If you're doing all of these 5 things you think you are, and your campaign still isn't converting, what I'm going to say is your offer is probably the issue. And like the vast majority of the time, the offer is the issue, and that's why your campaign is converting. So make sure, look into your offer, make sure that it's good for cold traffic, make sure it's low risk, low friction, that it's you're able to give them value with low effort on their side. It's clear, it's quantifiable. Like these words, I'm just throwing them at you, and it might not stick, but actually like, take a second to look at it and like match each word and like how does it rank on this scale? Because that's going to be a huge contributor of if you can actually run a successful cold email campaign. But other than that, these are the basics. If you can nail these, you should be able to run a pretty good campaign and get some solid results, booking like 10 plus calls a month. I would say go high volume. So if you're going to send cold emails, definitely worth it. Like you want a little bit of a budget, like at least like 300 to 500 bucks is good. And like at least you want to send maybe like bottom line would be like 600 a day. That's like low volume, but you can still get a bit of results. But I would recommend starting off with like 1 to 3,000 a day. So just keep that in mind. If you want me to help you run a campaign, I also run campaigns. You can book a call in the description, and I post a lot on Twitter with like different lead magnets that can give you extra value and a lot of good stuff on there. So subscribe.